Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello and welcome back.
So, interesting things happening, assortment of interesting things going on. Curious, as usual. So we see there's problems at Visa. You see there's some outages going on right now with Visa and also with Mastercard.
Yeah, that's really curious. That's like how we get around these days is through Visa and MasterCard.
Yeah, most of us, will use our debit card almost exclusively. I mean, how many people really use cash anymore?
Very few. And, I'm one of them. I use my debit card for everything.
So, as you see, this is talking about you're going to want to take cash along if you buy lunch or an afternoon snack following reports of credit cards not working. Keoland News looked into and reported issues with Visa, Discover, and MasterCard. All three services have seen spikes and reported issues throughout the morning, according to Down Detector. We ran into this, didn't we? We did. Yeah. We ran into that.
We were just lucky we had cash.
It was unusual because usually, we don't. But Visa customers are reporting issues primarily in the area of payment processing with apparent spikes in Atlanta, New York, and central Kansas. Brother Mark, do you have anything to do with this? Just kidding. just kidding. So with 9/11 issues reported by 12:30 p.m., MasterCard customers are also reporting an influx of payment issues with spikes in the Dallas and central Kansas area again. Discover customers reported fewer issues to the site, mostly revolving around their mobile app. But there have been some issues reported. And, there's a lot of other things that are very curious and interesting. So we see here, sand cloud which swept over France and other parts of Europe last week and earlier this week contained radioactive particles of cesium-137.
Now that is really, really bothersome considering where is it coming from? How is it getting there? Who else is being exposed?
Well, this sand cloud came from the desert, came from across, over in Africa. And it's interesting, too. Here is a PDF for you guys to look at. It's entitled Radioactivity Under the Sand, and it's all about French nuclear test sites. And for one, over here, Algeria's foreign minister says an impact on France's nuclear tests persists. So Algeria has renewed its demand for France to compensate for the nuclear tests it conducted in its vast desert before and after independence. The case is considered among the unresolved crimes committed by colonialism, and it's one of the most sensitive issues between the countries. Marking the occasion of the 61st anniversary of the first French nuclear explosion in the Algerian desert on February 13, 1960, Foreign Minister Sabri Boukadoum said in a statement on Twitter that the impacts of the tests are catastrophic. On this day in 1960, imperialist France carried out the first nuclear explosion in the Regane region of the Algerian desert in a process codenamed Gerboise Bleu, yielding a force of 70 kilotons, he said. So Algeria was and is still at the forefront of countries advocating for comprehensive ban on nuclear testing. And as we were saying in the last video, which we're going to publish it after this one, I'm going to switch the order a little bit. Nuclear tests and nuclear explosions, they hurt and affect beings not just here on 3D Earth.
Well, no, it affects, evolution as a whole. It affects different beings on different densities, and everyone has come to try to bring some rectification to this.
So on February 13th, 1960, France conducted its first nuclear test in the Sahara, southwest of Algeria, followed by 16 other tests in the Algerian desert in the period between 1960 and 1966. Mary Shawn, one of our dear family members that we love, she's up in Utah. She lived in Nevada, and she was a little girl, and they would have the nuclear tests going on in Nevada, and they would just say, stay out from being indoors for a few hours, this type of thing. What was it?
It was 3 days. They told the kids, don't play in the ash for 3 days. And being children, of course they're going to go play outside, and she's still having health problems to this day.
Yeah, it's really, really sad what governments have done, because governments have conducted experiments on their own people without their own people knowing.
Oh, that's so frequent too. I mean, way more frequent than we can comprehend, I'm sure.
Hundreds and probably thousands of times, but I know of 240 times just here in the USA that's happened.
Yes, and we also know that it's global, so it's really difficult to fathom that humans can do this to other humans, but unfortunately it's it's happening.
Yeah, so why aren't people more up in arms? Why aren't people, well, why do we have a Congress that has a 9% approval? It's just mind-boggling. And then why do you have people like Lindsey Graham, for instance, or Mitch McConnell, for instance, or Nancy Pelosi, for instance, that are in there for life, even when the approval is atrocious? Can you imagine if you were an employee of a company and the company looked and said, well, only 9% of the board of executives think that you guys are effective? Do you think all the employees would be fired in a heartbeat?
Oh, I know. I mean, it just goes to show and talk about these beings that will do what it takes to get to where they want and what they think they need to do for whatever.
And how there truly is never any real change. It's window dressing. The only change is in a negative direction, and while meanwhile people are just desperate for their next stimulus check. They'll test us for everything by the time they're done. That's all so many people are thinking about. Where's the next stimulus check or this and that? The masses, not you guys, because you guys are, if you're listening to this, you're mostly awake.
Yeah, you definitely are. So, I mean, these are people who will move whoever they need to move out of the way to get to where they want and what they want. And that's what we need to fix in this country for sure, and on the globe.
Meanwhile, the U.S. has conducted airstrikes on eastern Syria, which Russia has reacted fiercely to. And they say it was an extremely outrageous violation of sovereignty. As we said, the USA has been at war for like 93% of the time of its existence.
Yes, it has. And, it's almost like, and if there was no war, I'm sure there was some kind of skirmish or some plans made.
And there was an Israeli ship targeted in the Gulf of Oman blast as officials point finger at Iran. Nothing really changes. We're still back in the same old.
Yeah, I know. It's just really kind of frustrating.
Yeah, the war without end. And so, I had put up over on Evolutionary for the first time in forever a video that was "We Do Not Consent." And I actually did that one a while back, but it's so true. I mean, we have to put this out into ether that, the public says no. We have to get more and more people saying, no, we're not going along with all this. No more nuclear tests, no more raping the environment, no more fracking in our backyard, polluting our waters, no more, incessant war and just all the fear mongering that it brings.
Yeah, no more sprinkling dust over people who didn't ask for it.
The SEC suspends trading in 15 companies due to questionable trading and social media activity. Okay, we're just going to leave that one at that. And then this was fun. I don't have permission to play it, but basically Elon Musk on mRNA, he said that, basically, and this is his own words, you could turn someone into a freaking butterfly with the right DNA sequence. Okay. Wow.
Right. So it tells you who has control over what, and obviously it's not us.
Well, supposedly butterflies are free, if not the people of the earth.
Right. Yep.
Guys, make sure you're subscribed, have the bell clicked. Thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. If you need to reach out, make an appointment, it's evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com or EEARTS@protonmail.com, and check out our website, evolutionaryenergyarts.com. As always, God bless and namaste, and Cindy's going to give us a ding here.
Here we go. God bless and namaste.